There are 10 skills that have served me well throughout my pilot career that I've been able to use effectively in real estate. I'm going to share with you that list today, and I'm going to give you the number one skill that all great investors have. All right, so you guys may or may not know that I am currently a pilot, a professional pilot that I fly for in the private sector of aviation. I've been doing this now 9 years professionally, and I absolutely love it, but I also have a love affair with real estate. So as you know, I share mostly real estate on this channel, but today I'm going to kind of tie the two together for you because I learned a lot in my training and through my career as a pilot. The skills that I acquired through pilot training were extremely useful and effective today in my real estate career. And I'm going to start with this list of 10 skills that I find were most effective for me in life in general, but also specifically for investing. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you the number one skill that I think every investor should master, and all the great ones that I know have mastered. So first skill that I learned in pilot training that has served me well in real estate is working as a team. Learning how to be a team player, right? Because when you first start pilot training, you are doing a lot of things by yourself, but as you evolve in your career, you're going to have to learn how to fly as a crew with your first officer if you're the captain, or if you're just starting, how to work with your captain, right? And that team play is really important in real estate because you are not working solo. Even though you may think you are as an investor and you're making a lot of decisions, you may be doing everything by yourself, you're going to need other players to help you, attorneys, agents, insurance agents, other investors maybe to help you on bigger projects. You're going to need inspectors. You're going to need, a help from sellers. You're going to have to be a team player and working with others. The second skill is how to work with systems and operations to become efficient and good at working with and understanding intricate systems. This is something that you obviously need to know as a pilot. You need to know the systems on your aircraft inside and out and how to operate those things in case something goes wrong, right? But you can also use this skill in real estate as an investor because everything in business and in investing comes down to how good of an operator you are. The investment that you make is not most likely a set it and forget it. It's something that is needed with ongoing management, and you need systems in place to help you alleviate some of the workload, right? The better you are implementing systems in your business or in your property, the easier things are going to be for you. So understanding how that works and how to set up a well-lubricated engine that's working for you instead of you working at everything by yourself is vitally important. Number 3 is the skill of communication. This is important in life in general, whether it be through relationships, at work, outside of work, and specifically in real estate. It's going to be very important to master this because in aviation, if you mess up something that air traffic control tells you and you do that thing, that could mean the difference between a big crash or accident or incident and one that's avoided, right? If ATC says heading 270 and you read back 265 and start flying that is the wrong heading. You did not listen correctly, you did not communicate effectively. That has big consequences in aviation. And it can have big consequences in real estate, depending on the situation. So you have to make sure that number 1, you can listen effectively, and number 2, that you can speak well and clearly and effectively so that the message that is being received and transmitted is clear and everybody is on the same page. Number 4 is the skill of decision making. A lot of people don't associate this as a skill, But anything that can be worked upon, that can be improved over time with practice, is a skill, and you can get better at that thing. So decision making, even though it may seem out of your reach, is something you should practice on a daily basis to get better at. Try starting with small little decisions that you make that are not important on a daily basis, and do those things quickly so that you can get better at making the bigger decisions in life. There's something out there that has been said about decision making, that you only need 70% of the information to make a good decision. Anything more than that is actually going to hurt you, because you're going to be overwhelmed with options and doubt, and you may procrastinate the decision. And anything less than 70% is not enough information to make the best decision. So use that as a metric. I need information, but not too much, not too little, and apply that to your life and into investing. The next one is confidence. You need this no matter what career you're in and wherever you are in life. You're gonna always need confidence. You can always use more of it. This is a skill you can work on through time, through accomplishments, through little things that you can achieve that you thought maybe you couldn't. Challenge yourself to build your confidence. Do you know what confidence really means though? Where it comes from? The word confidence derives from the root word confide, which means to trust. So confidence has to do with trust. And when you're talking about confidence within yourself, you're talking about self-trust. How much do you trust yourself to do something the right way, to execute it and see it all the way through to the end? The level of your confidence is the level of your self-trust. When you say to yourself, I'm going to do this thing, and you then do it, you have built trust with yourself, aka you have built confidence. But when you say to yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it, you have eroded self-trust and you have depleted self-confidence. So in order to build on confidence, you need to work on saying, I'm going to do this thing, do it, and keep doing that day after day after day, and your confidence will grow. Number 6 is the skill of long-term thinking. What's going to happen down the road? When I'm flying an airplane, I'm not thinking about what's happening right now so much as I'm thinking about what's the weather doing 10, 20, 50 miles down the road. Does that mean I have to move my direction? Do we have to go above the weather, around it? What's going on further down the road? As an investor, you need to know what's going to happen the next week, the week after, the month after. How is my numbers going to change? Are the taxes going to increase in the next quarter? Is that going to affect my cash flow? What are happening to interest rates? How is this going to play out in the future when my tenant leaves? I'm going to have to fill that vacancy. How long am I going to be out of income before I get a new tenant? These are long-term plays, and you have to learn how to think ahead in the future. Number 7 is the skill of math and analytics. This is something that's obviously important as an investor, because you need to know how to crunch the numbers on a property to see, is it going to be worth my while to put my money and time into this investment? How is it going to look when I sell 5 years down the road? Is it going to meet my return on investment standards? So these numbers, crunching those, and then analyzing the situation and multiple formulas is important to make successful decisions as an investor. Number 8 is problem solving. When I'm flying and something happens, I have to address that issue and solve it, sometimes very quickly. I need to go to the checklist. What does it say? 1, 2, 3, fix the problem. If I can't fix the problem on the checklist and it's something outside of that, I have to think outside of the box to be able to solve that issue, sometimes under a lot of pressure in minimal amounts of time. You as an investor will need to do the same thing, and problems are going to come up out of the blue, sometimes not expecting them, but you need to know how to address it and how to solve them. Sometimes that means going outside of yourself and finding the resources around you through other people to get the right answer to solve that problem. Number 9 is coping with failure. You're going to come up against a lot of failures in the beginning of your career as an investor, and you need to learn how to be compassionate with yourself so that you can move on until you are successful. It's normal for you to fail a lot in the beginning. I failed a lot when I was first learning how to fly, and I had a big failure on one of my major exams to become a flight instructor. But I didn't let that stop me. I didn't say to myself, you know what, I suck at this, I'm not meant to do this. The language I used with myself was different. I messed up on this thing. How can I learn from that to become better so the next time I don't mess up again? That language and the way that you communicate with yourself is super important to be able to overcome the failures. And you're going to need to do that as a beginner investor. Okay, here it is. Finally, we made it to the end. Number 10. The number one skill that all great investors have mastered, and the one that you need to master to become a great investor. That skill is risk management. How do you deal with the amount of risk that is in front of you? As an aviator, you have a ton of risk flying an airplane, especially in inclement weather. So how do you manage that risk? In other words, how do I reduce my downside and improve my upside? So I need to protect myself, but I also don't want to be paralyzed. So I don't want to just stay at home. I want to fly, right? I need to travel from point A to point B. But how do I do that in the most safe way possible? So the same thing as an investor. I want to go from point A to point B. I'm here now, and I want to get there. I need to invest this money. I need to risk this money in order to make more money. But how do I do that safely? So in order to do that, I need to know, how do I protect myself from losing this money, but yet I don't want a cap on how high I can go, right? I want to increase that cap, but I also want to protect my downside. So that skill, in order to manage that balancing act, comes with practice, but that risk management skill is super important skill as an investor, and that's why I think it's number one in my opinion. So there you guys have it, the 10 skills that I've learned through my pilot career that have served me well as a real estate investor, and I know they're gonna do wonders for you as well. So just keep at it, keep going, and keep learning. That's the key every single day, because when I was doing those things as a pilot and learning and going through my career, I had no idea that I was learning these skills. And I also had no idea that these skills were going to help me pivot into a separate career field and that they would apply, because I didn't see that until I was at this point looking back in retrospect. And that's the thing I want you guys to be aware of. There's a lot of skills that you're learning in your job or your career now that you have no idea how they're shaping you for the future. So now that you're aware of the 10 skills, go out there and keep grinding. Thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next video, and take care.